Hey guys, per usual, everything on this channel is for educational purposes and is not intended as financial advice. So this video turned into a hybrid altcoin extravaganza / what's in your bags video. So first we're going to do my bags. There is a diamond in the rough out of all the charts I looked at today besides the ones that I'm already in. So I'll get to that. That's really exciting. Sending money to Polo as we speak. To buy that coin. So folding coin, that was from a few what's in your bags videos ago. Again, why do I like folding coin? Edge to edge trades. You're going to hear me talk about this on a few of the charts. Hopefully by the end of this video you'll fully understand what it is, how to trade it, why it's a trade that's viable in the first place. So essentially the cloud is showing you resistance, resistance, resistance. Again, you're seeing all these resistance touches. And then finally we break resistance. And once we break resistance, that's when the edge to edge trade is viable. That's when you should enter the long. Okay, or the short. In this case, it's a long. Whenever you get a candle close in the cloud, so the entry could be right here. Boom. And like I say up here, entry, candle close in the cloud. Your stop loss is at the key June. You can see we've never closed below the key June this whole time. So you're still in the trade, which is I'm still in the trade. And your target's the opposite edge of the cloud. The reason I like this one a lot is because the opposite edge of the cloud is huge. And the upside is 42.80. And the reason that is painted on the cloud is because it's the 50% fib of this move here. There's also a growing flat Kumo here, so you can see we've almost already touched that target. So it's possible we go up from here, or we just go sideways, and then until we break out and then go up from here. But this remains the target until we hit that target because it's the 50% fib. I know these are alts, I know volume is generally trash, but I don't care. I'm only playing these plays on whatever the cloud is telling me. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if it works out. I'm pretty optimistic overall. Maybe that's the wrong thing to be, but we'll see. So that's one of my bags. This is SC, the other one. Again, same thing. Edge to edge trade. Close in the cloud is the entry. Target is the opposite end of the cloud. You can see this one, the targets aren't as big because the cloud isn't as big. And again, after we closed in the cloud, this was not a close in the cloud, these two candles here. This was the entry right here. You can see it's kind of faded since then, but it hasn't broken the Kijun, which is your stop. So again, you're still in the trade. Now this isn't the traditional up here, which is what I'm labeling. It's not your traditional bullish entry Kumo breakout sort of trade. I will show a few of those on this video, but this is like a pre-Kumo breakout trade or a specifically for the doubled cloud trade. If I showed you this on single, it would almost look like a Kumo breakout's happening, but it doesn't give you the targets as well as it does on doubled cloud. So that's another reason I like doubled cloud. And one thing I've noticed since I've been labeling this stuff, these doubled versus singled cloud and this edge to edge versus normal entry signals, if these signals have been lining up pretty nicely. So you wait for the bullish TK cross. It's usually when you get a close in the cloud, and you usually have the lagging span above the cloud, above the price, below the cloud, or above the price in the cloud. It's super nuanced, but basically what I'm trying to say is the edge to edge trade, usually you have a bullish TK when you have a candle close in the cloud. That's all I'm trying to say. So that's pretty interesting to pay attention to. Naut coin, Nautilus. This one I bought super early because I liked the falling wedge, which never really played out too well. It's at historic lows. There's no hope on the cloud right now as far as entry signals. This isn't even an edge-to-edge trade right now, so I'm either in at the bottom or it's just going to go to zero at this point, which is fine. But you can see the previous support resistance over here. In this case it's support hopefully, and it's just bouncing on trawling the bottom of the lake at the moment. The targets here are the other end of the cloud. Again, flat Kumo equals magnet. Why? Because it's a 50% fib of some move. This is the 50% fib of this, and then this is likely the 50% fib of this, or some derivative of that. Okay, so this week's traders for bags. Ant, this is Noose. He's pretty huge altcoin trader. He has more followers than me. Pretty bitter about that. Gonna talk about a few of his charts. Sangi. This guy gives me more crap on Twitter than anybody, which is great. It's not always even constructive criticism. I just, it's great that I get criticism because I feel like most people are grateful to see the charts and the videos, which is awesome, but I always want to get better. So people like Sangi are great for me. Okay. You won't see Noose's targets on the charts because he has like multiple targets, so I just put his charts in the description of the video. All these charts will be in the description of the video, so you can look at his targets from those charts. First coin, Ardr. This is a few people now talking about Ardr, so there seems to be a lot of interest on crypto Twitter about this. Everything on the cloud says up, up, up. You got a nice W for win. It doesn't really mean anything because it's not at the bottom of the trend, which is where you want to see it, or bottom or top. But in this case, it's just sort of in the middle of something. Bullish TK. I just like this target here because it was sort of like where the wicks were support and then resistance. So I like Ardr. I'm not going to buy it because it's not an edge-to-edge trade. I think it's got a lot of time on it. Definitely weeks, if not months, for this target anyway. His target's pretty high up there, so I don't know. One thing I might start asking people is how long they think they might be holding it. Just until the target's reached, or just like an X amount of time. I don't know. I'm sure everybody trades alts a little differently. Bit crystals. Another one of Noose's bags. The cloud, I didn't write it on here, but everything on the cloud says don't buy this on the daily. It definitely looks bottomy. Could be at local lows, near historic lows. It's definitely getting there. It's rounding. You can see the rounding here. Cloud's painting these flat Kumos here and here. This was a while back. I was saying check back in a few weeks. It's been months at this point, but definitely rounding. Not something I want to be in though. But again, if you're holding for weeks or months, sure. BitShares, another one, does not look like an long at all. This bearish pitchfork, which I saw a curve fit, I was trying to capture this downtrend. Cloud says don't buy, no hope for this coin. But again, flat Kumos are here and here, so there's plenty of upside. This is 9K, or whatever this is, 90558 is double current price at least. So you can definitely 2x it just based on the 50% fib of this cloud. Einsteinium. This one, again, cloud's telling you no hope, don't go long, no entry signal whatsoever, but also painting plenty of flat Kumos. So the entry signal, the edge-to-edge trade might be coming up soon. Again, you're looking for like a bullish TK cross, so blue over red, and a price candle close in the cloud, and this would be your first target, second target, third target. And these are all just 50% fibs of previous moves. This is probably the ultimate target, 4K. I don't know whose chart this is. I think that's Noose's. Hunter coin, fresh off the presses from Telegram. People are pumping the crap out of Hunter coin right now. So this is like a great example of a pre-edge to edge, like worth watching day to day, because we don't have the TK cross yet. We don't have the candle close in the cloud, but this is exactly what you want to see when you're getting prepared to go long. So if you're already long in this, it's a little early just based on the cloud signals on the daily, but there's plenty of upside with the cloud all the way up here. This is like a 3x. I didn't do the math, 2x, whatever, 2 something x. His target's up here. So yeah, it looks good at the moment for preparation of an edge-to-edge trade. Again, candle close in cloud, bullish TK cross usually is what you see, and the target's up here. And typically it happens rather quickly, so it's viable so long as prices remains in the cloud. So the edge-to-edge trade for this might look like, it might go up and then it might go down, and then it might go up. I don't know. Whenever price is in cloud, that always means it's indeterminate. So the range is the entire range of the cloud, so it could go anywhere, but it's more likely to go up than down just based on entry into previous resistance. So some other way this might pan out, you might just see candle after candle hitting this as resistance, and then it might eventually close in the cloud and then go from there. So again, you're a little early just based on the cloud if you're already long on the edge-to-edge thing, but it definitely looks good for a nice upside target. Coin 2.0, Sangi. Again, no entry signals for the cloud. Really, really early on edge-to-edge trade, but there's a nice upside with 50% here and then ultimately 50% here. So his target is exactly the target that I would be looking at, which is the 50% slash flat Kumo slash whatever of this move here. But again, he's super early. I think this is historic lows, so maybe that's why he's in. Curecoin, I hope you're sitting down because, oh boy. So this is another example of how the edge-to-edge early on is starting to play out. So today will be the first day that we have a candle close in the cloud. We don't even have a bullish TK cross yet. So this is pre that signal. I'm buying Cure based on this chart right here. I'll show you the singled. So this is the doubled cloud. I'll show you the singled. His target's fine. Noose is in this too, I think he told me, but I hope it's okay to share that. Anyway, these are the targets just based on the flat Kumo. This will be my target up here. It's the 50% fib. It's a huge line. The longer the flat Kumo, the higher the probability the price will get hit. Why is that the case? Because that means price is sort of bottomed out and is ready to retrace back up. That's how I see it. It sounds crazy. The more you see it, the more you'll start believing it. So that's Cure on doubled cloud. This is here on singled cloud. You can see we have bullish entry signals based on traditional Kumo breakout. So Kumo breakout, almost the bullish Kumo. So again, this is like happening right now, today. The earliest the entry signal could be for the cloud, the way I trade it, would be today. So not only is the doubled cloud telling you that it's a nice edge-to-edge trade, but the single cloud is telling you traditional cloud signals that this is a great long. Now you might want to wait until this is definitively green and lagging span is definitively above price. So that might happen in one of two ways. Either price will shoot up and lagging span will sit up here, or will go sideways enough for lagging span to just come out of cloud and then shoot up. So that'll be another week. So if you don't want to get in now, that's fine. Again, this is not investment advice. I'm not trying to pump my own bags, but I'm telling you why I'm excited about siacoin, just like any other edge-to-edge, FLDC, whatever. Okay, so that's siacoin. Dogecoin, gotta love the Doge. Everybody's in the Doge. Everybody's got a bag, and it likely is Doge. This is Sangi's target, it's fine. I'm still in Doge. We're in the buy zone, historically. Historic lows. I mean, it can only go to 0, right guys? You can't go lower than that. Flow. Sangi's target's basically near all-time highs. I don't know how I feel about that. I think that's a little generous. I would like a target up here, just based on local lows or local highs. But again, flow coin, same thing with Doge. The ABC TA tells you this is the buy zone. So just based on that, not based on cloud or anything. Flow on 4 hour. Cloud says stay out for now. The entry is gone. You can see we hit this previous flat Kumo and this run up after the Kumo breakout. So it's always tough to know when to hold them and when to fold them on altcoins. First targets, second targets, third targets. If you're short term, near term versus holding long term, obviously you're looking for higher targets. That's how I'd play it anyway. ETH Classic. So this one was an interesting chart. This is singled cloud. Tried to find a pitchfork that fit. This kind of fits. It's kind of trending upwards. I'm noticing this is a definite resistance zone. Support turn resistance zone. So 0.0019 median line of the pitchfork here. So it's definitely going to try to get back to that zone. Cloud tells you it's good to go as far as entries are concerned. One thing to wait for would be the lagging span to be above price in cloud. This was Taipan's Capital's target, a little low. I think it was just his first target. He didn't give me any other targets than that, just a local high. So really, I think this 0.00186 level is a really good test for the next support resistance line. ETH on the daily doubled cloud. So here's another example of edge-to-edge trade. Not only that, but we had an Adam Eve that still hasn't completely materialized. So I think there's plenty of upside just based on that. Edge-to-edge trade plus bullish TK cross plus flat Kumo. Again, if you're looking like when's the earliest to go long on the edge-to-edge trades, wait for the bullish TK cross as well as a candle closes in cloud. They usually correspond. We can see here on this candle, there wasn't a bullish TK cross until a few candles later. Again, that's super nuanced, but if you're trading on daily, you have plenty of time to just wait it out and lagging spans above price but below the cloud, which is fine for the edge-to-edge trade. And then these would be all the targets just based on flat Kumo, Adam Eve target, and more flat Kumo. So that's doubled ETH. This is singled ETH. You can see we've started to get bullish Kumo twist over here. So early signs of entry. Again, if you're on daily, you can afford to just wait it out. Wait till the Kumo breakout. You might even want to wait for the Kumo breakout to go long on the edge-to-edge trade, because then you at least have signals telling you to go long on a singled cloud, which is the true daily time frame, versus doubled, which is 2-day cloud essentially. Dash is great because it shows you what an edge-to-edge trade would look like. Unfortunately, this P&L R&R stuff's covering up the candles here, but the entry was right here on this candle close in the cloud, okay? Stop was always at the Kijun, which was right here. And you can see it just went through the edge, one edge to the other edge. Great. I think the ultimate resistance at this point would be this zone. It was support, and then it broke, and it's just like a big 50% fib area. So the upside is probably minimal on Dash at the moment. It's probably just a wait and see. I think the trade is largely over on Dash BTC. It still looks bullish, but I just don't know how much momentum is left to break this zone. I don't know anything about Dash fundamentals, so maybe I'm completely wrong on that, but that's just what it looks like. Here's Dash USD Tether on doubled cloud. A few things to mention here. Again, everything traditionally to the cloud is telling you to be long, to go long. The entry signal was probably in here, the latest entry signal, just because if you're waiting for the cloud to flip. Now you can always just go long on every single Kumo breakout and just hold it until the TK cross. That's another way to play the cloud. You do you, man. Whatever you want to do. This is 4 hour. Another interesting thing, I mentioned this every once in a while, but if there's momentum to pass through a Kumo twist, so this is a Kumo twist, you can see here's another Kumo twist. If there's momentum to pass through it, price will more likely than not try to reach for it and go through it. You can see it missed it by a few 4 hour time frames here, maybe 8 hours. That's still pretty good considering this was printed 30 periods ahead of time. So if there's momentum here to drop through the cloud, it'll try to reach for that zone. Sometimes you'll see that it reaches and sort of finds support here. Another thing to look at if you're in a trade actively right now on this, or if you're considering entering along, is the TK lines are super far apart. So that says that there is a disequilibrium, and if it's above the cloud, it's overbought. Here there's a disequilibrium. You can see that means it was oversold. Price always wants to return to the Kijun, the red line here. So bids at Kijun are always safe, is what I'm saying. And what you might see is the Kijun and the cloud just sort of sit here, and then price tap it and then bounce up. It's possible. Something I'm just seeing now is a cup and handle sort of forming. So it might just chill in this zone. I'd have to draw out the fibs. But what you're looking for is a 50% fib bounce, nothing lower than that, that's for sure. And I can see here that this is not even close to the 50% fib right now. 50% fib is probably down here. So if it breaks this horizontal, the cup and handle is probably invalid. But if it holds, it probably looks good. I don't have volume on here, unfortunately, either. But so Dash overall looks bullish. I think it's just due for a pullback. Dashusdt tether. And Monero is a really great pitchfork on Monero. You can see it's bounced 5 times on this median line. What? If that doesn't scream support, I don't know what does. Cloud is telling you to stay out just because the price is in the cloud, and that just means it's indeterminate. Like I said earlier, it can just bounce around anywhere. But until it's above or below the cloud, that's when you want to think about trading this. At least that's when I would think about trading this. Again, Kumo twist is here. So if there's momentum to fall through, it's going to try to fall through near or at this zone. So that's all I have for today, guys. I know it was a long one. I hope it was a good one. If you have any questions, let me know. Hit me up on Twitter, Telegram. Like, dislike, share, subscribe, donate. And if you want to be featured on the next What's in Your Bags, just give me a list of alts with targets. Must have targets. Happy trading.